Well, hello, and yes, for today's episode I have had a haircut, and we will also be diving into one of the greatest multiplayer races of the 90s and checking out its flaws, errors and glitches, including a trip to Peach's Castle, unobtainable boxes, multiplayer battles, cartridge tilting as usual, and ways to win races quickly, as this is Cartridge Tilting and Glitches, covering Mario Kart 64. In Super Mario 64, we were promised offerings of cake by our beloved princess, only to arrive at her home to find it had been seized by the mighty King Koopa, Bowser. And during the third track to grace the Star Cup, the Royal Raceway offers up some very tricky, tight twisting corners, leading onto an enormous jump that propels the karts onwards to the 8th corner, where Peach's Castle stands in all its glory once again. If you drive up to the castle's bridge at a speed of over 40 kilometers per hour and then try and hop on over the edge, you should be able to sail inside the walls of the stronghold, though don't expect any cake here either, as no one's home. The Star Cup's first race to get the competition underway has a distance of 1,591 metres and is made up of a pure dirt track combining huge sweeping corners, jumps, bumps and leaps that a motocross rider would be proud of. And I am of course talking of Wario Stadium, and is no doubt one of my favourite tracks. Though this beauty also contained a flaw that could be exploited very easily, allowing players to thrash their opponents every single time. So as the race got underway, you just needed to approach the first bump and square up to the wall on the left. If you race up to it and then begin to jump upon it, you may, after some practice, be able to jump on over the wall, which at first may look like a black void to you, but which will load into the track, allowing you to continue onwards on your journey, though now considerably further in the lead. During multiplayer battle modes, there was only one course I was really interested in, and that was the Block Fort. It was colourful, tiered into 3 layers, and enabled an element of strategic action. It also had a nifty glitch that allowed you to push your friends through the wall to their doom. You can test this by simply setting up a 2-player game and using one controller to do all the work. Once the battle commences, send one of the characters hurtling towards the other and bash them until they reach the wall behind them. Next, rather than continuing to press your opponent into the wall anymore, release the A button and then the second player will now fall through the wall. Since we are covering the multiplayer battlegrounds, there is an intriguing point of interest laying in the Big Donut. Once any battle gets underway, head on over to the outer rim, but more specifically, go to the green barrier. Now, rather than trying to drive forward up against it, reverse up to it instead, so that now you can observe the black void underneath the map. Next, by slowly creeping around the green part of the course, keep an eye out into the darkness, as for some reason you can find 2 item boxes lurking underneath the track, totally unobtainable and very puzzling at the same time. Cartridge tilting Mario Kart 64 is an extremely difficult art, it would seem, and there is no guarantee anything fascinating will happen. In fact, most of the time you'll end up resetting the console and trying again and again. But if you are lucky and persistent enough, on the odd occasion you might get the chance to see the kart's wheels turning a bright burning red before the game blacks out and crashes. You can also see all 4 wheels and most of the kart disappear, leaving just a player and the cockpit floating in mid-air. And finally, Lucky 2 makes for an interesting tilt, as he will dilute into a weird, scrambled up mess. During DK's jungle pathway, there is a glitch near the end of the track just as you approach the finishing line. As you take off down the course, just focus on your task in hand, but just as you are coming to complete your first lap, bear the kart to the left whilst you are still inside the tunnel and exploit a glitch that is lurking in the cave wall. This will send your character hurtling into the water below while also activating lap 2, and Lucky 2 will now drop you just before the finishing line. Now that you are on lap 2, turn around and head back inside the tunnel and perform the glitch again. Lucky 2 this time should now drop you further back inside the tunnel, where if you cross the finishing line this time, lap 3 will be activated, allowing you to either perform the glitch once more or race to the finishing line, and either way you'll win the race with ease. To finish off this fourth instalment, we will survey one of the biggest glitches the game has to offer, and that allows you to complete Fraps Knowland in just under 1 minute. After Lucky 2 has counted you into the race, immediately turn 180 degrees and head for the wooden bridge behind you, where once upon it you should turn around to face in the proper direction. Now, without touching the icy road, leap onto the snow to the right and then proceed to pass through the start line, and then quickly veer off in a 90-degree angle to the right until Lucky 2 picks you up. If this has been performed correctly, Lucky 2 would have placed you back on the bridge, where once more you'll need to jump onto the snow, pass over the start line where this time lap 2 will commence, and then head off in that 90-degree angle once more. Lucky 2 will dump you on the bridge, where for the final time you must repeat this entire process, which will allow Lucky 2 to place you back on the bridge, enabling your character to waltz over the finishing line in under 1 minute.